and heart freshening good morning to all of you. I am extremely happy to be part of this program. The Honorable Member of Legislative Assembly, B.Y. Raghavendra, just now he left, who spoke very aptly like an academician. I was very happy to listen to him. We have other dignitaries on the dais. Shri Shivkumar, who is president of this Swami Vivekananda Vidya Samaste, and we have Dr. Ningama Betsu, a professor from Department of Education, Mysore University, a very dynamic principal, Dr. Jayashri, and all the committed staff of this Kumudavati College of Education. We have other university faculty, Professor Donge, and other staff administrators of this institution trust, and so many learned participant friends and dear young teacher educators. Let me tell you, my job was only to deliver a keynote address. That would be there only in the next session. And right now, I have just replaced the chief guest. So I will be only speaking for a few minutes. Just only to talk about what a quality. Definitely, quality cannot be defined in a very consistent manner, and in particular in a limited way within a boundary, because it varies how you perceive, and it also varies depending on the situation. And as we say, quality is a multi-dimensional aspect. And just now whatever B.Y. Raghavendra, who was speaking about Skill India, whatever he was speaking about the role of various agencies in monitoring the different types of professional education, they are all different aspects or indicators that we are talking about for enhancing the quality. And definitely, Skill India is one scheme which is trying to bridge the gap between the theory and the practice. That the gap that the students as outputs who come out, who cannot cater to the market demands, who cannot cater to meet the requirements of an employer, and what they lack, the employability skills. And to tell you, I was just associated with one of the projects that was carried out by Professor Marmar Mukhyopadhyay, who worked on the whole country, the employability skills of teachers at secondary level. And I was one of the co-investigators in that project. We have found that even teachers who are teaching at a government institutions and aided institutions or private institutions, irrespective of that, on various dimensions, they lack these employability skills as teachers. So in every profession, of course, it is happening. When we talk about quality, definitely as teachers, or when we talk about qualitative teaching, usually, though there are no any consistent or well-defined indicators for a quality, I would like to say, not very precisely, but still, like three important components comes to my mind. One is when, that is only in the perspective of a qualitative teaching, what I am talking about, not in the whole domain of qualitative education or quality education. So when we say a teacher are limited to teaching, maybe it is the cognitive resources of a teacher, maybe the performance that a teacher exhibits, and the effect that the teacher is having on the students. If you take these three aspects as the indicators for qualitative teaching, even here also, authors, varied authors, they do not agree upon. When we are talking about the cognitive resources, we are talking about the teachers knowledge, like what we usually say, that the content knowledge, maybe the knowledge of the surroundings, that the teacher's beliefs and the attitudes and the various dispositions that the teacher carries to a profession as a teacher. But still, when you talk about a performance of a teacher, there are once again, the performance is just not a product of only the qualitative or whatever the cognitive resources that the teacher carries. But still, performance cannot be equated once again to cognitive resources. Many a times, a teacher, in spite of the fact that has the cognitive resources, may not be able to exhibit or perform to the fullest. Because many a times, the teachers lack those skills to perform, lack those skills or competencies to perform. When it does not, the teacher does not perform, it does not go down, the teacher does not deliver completely or fully, or which can reach out to the students. So if you are not completely reaching out to the student, definitely your performance is not to the full, and there is an inadequacy in creating an effect on the students also. So when we are talking about the other aspect, not only the performance aspect, and of course, apart from one important significant indicator that the cognitive resources, there are various other environmental factors that are required for a performance. Maybe, for example, I just give the example of myself. I am standing before you and I am talking to you. If I want myself to reach out to all of you, and this particular technology is helping me to reach out to you. This is only an environmental, maybe an element which is helping me to perform. So apart from the cognitive resources like this, there are so many environmental aspects. Maybe it is infrastructural aspects, maybe other supportive environments, maybe about various types of the leadership support and different things, resources available, that is the physical resources available, that all would help a teacher to perform. So that is within himself that the teacher may have the cognitive resources, and outside the teacher, which is not within the control of a teacher, there may be environmental resources, and these two put together makes a teacher to perform in a particular situation. And once again, when we are talking about the performance, in spite of the fact that still, that as all students of B.Ed and M.Ed and as students, we all have learned, like however best the infrastructure, the buildings and all the support system that we have, until and unless that a teacher performs, until and unless the teacher is committed, and all these things has no value, that they remain dead. So here we are considering inequality, teacher as a very, very important, a single factor that the focus is on teacher. When we are talking about the effect that a teacher creates, that effect is once again, it is a product of a combination of both a cognitive resource and a performance. And performance that taking into consideration all the infrastructure, all the environmental factors into that. And now, many times whenever we are talking about the effectiveness is once again, is nothing but what is an impact or the effect that is created on output. When you are measuring the output, when we talk about school effectiveness, when we are talking about institutional effectiveness, we are talking about what is the quality on the output, what impact it has created, and how good the output is. Maybe once again the output may be measured as we say in terms of the skill, in terms of the competencies which are required, like any competency, like for example as teachers, like the NCT has given a few competencies, NCRT has given several competencies, maybe there are a few core competencies that need to be developed among the teachers. Because every profession, to practice it effectively, it requires a few competencies. So also the teacher education programs. So when we are talking about the teacher education program, like teacher education program, that it need to be, once again, like it need to be, like we are talking about the teacher education programs, whether it is a pre-service teacher education program or our in-service teacher education program, and it is a pre-service teacher education program, most of the time we are obsessed with the theory. Most of the time we